Okay, we're going to start with adding and subtracting using significant figures. So now, often when we do mathematical operations, what happens is people ask me, well, what should I round to? Should I round to a tenth of a place, a hundredth? Where should I round? And so the fact that we have significant figures, they give us rules to to apply to rounding. And so let's talk about the rules for adding and subtracting. And so let's take the first example. So the rule is the answer must be equal to the least number of decimal places, place of the numbers being added or subtracted. So I think the best way is just to do an example. I'm going to go ahead and write the problem like this. So what I'm doing is I'm lining up what I call the decimal places. So you see here like the tenths place, here's the ones, the tens, the hundreds, okay? So I'm just lining them up. What we'll notice is 3.2 only goes to the tenths place. So 3.2 only goes to the tenths place, whereas 102.55 goes to the hundredths place. So the least number of decimal places that both have in common is this one. So we're just going to round to the tenths place. So I do my math, this will be 105.75, but I have to round to the tenths place. Why? Because 3.2 only goes to the tenths place. It's the least number of decimal places. So if I round this, this will take me to 105.8. Okay? All right, let's do the next problem. So I like to line it up. You don't need to, but it seems to help me. So this one's a little tricky. And so let's just do the math first. So if I take 15600 minus 127, 7.88, I will get 15472.12. Okay, so 15472.12. 15600 has only three sig figs. There's no decimal. Here are my three significant figures. Therefore, the last place that is significant is I guess that would be the hundreds place, right? Whereas 127.88 has five sig figs. The last significant place is way here. So what they have in common, or the least number of decimal places, is this one, the one they have in common. So therefore, I'm going to round to here. So my new number is going to be 1, 5, and then this 4, I'm going to round up because the next number is a 7. And then now I have to replace these two as placeholders. So it's be 15500. Okay? All right, you feel free to try the next one, and then I'll show you the answer. All right, so 1520 minus 85.22. All right, so let's do the math first. Is equal to 1434.78. You'll notice the one they have in common. So 1520 has three sig figs, whereas the four sig figs for 85.22 go all the way to 100th place. The one they have in common, the last thing they have in common, or the lowest decimal place they have in common, is right here. This is called the tens, right? And so I'm just going to go ahead and go to the tens place. So this will be 1430. Okay, so 1430 will be the number. All right. Okay, so that's for adding and subtracting. Okay, now multiplying is a different rule. So let's go to multiplying. So multiplying and dividing using significant figures. In this case, the answer must have the same number of sig figs as the least number of sig figs in the problem. It's similar in the fact that what I want to do first is we're going to just multiply and get our normal answer. So 4 times 4.00 is just going to be 16, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to count the sig figs in our problem. So here I have 1 significant figure, and then here I have 3, right? And the answer must have the same number of sig figs as the least number of sig figs in the problem. So between 1 and 3, which one is the lower number of sig figs? Well, it's 1, right? Because 1 is smaller than 3. So therefore, my answer must have 1 sig fig. Right now, my answer has 2, so I'm going to have to round 16, right? So that has only 1 sig fig. So 1. So I'm going to keep the 1, but the next number is a 6, so that's going to round me up to 2, and then that 6 gets replaced with a 0, because I will need a placeholder, right, to maintain the value, but I don't want to change my number of sig figs, so the answer will be 20. All right, let's do the next problem. So here, 10.0 divided by 1.0 is just 10, right? And so 10.0 has 3 sig figs, 1.0 has 2. The lower number between 3 and 2 is 2, so this must have 2 sig figs. Right now it has 1, right? So I'm going to add a decimal, because that decimal makes this 0 a significant figure. All right, let's go ahead and do the math on the next one. So 50820 times 3.14 equals 182.74.8. So that's the number I get mathematically. But now I have to count my sig figs. Here's 3 for this one. Here's 3 for this one. So this will have 3 sig figs. Obviously it has more, but I'm going to keep 1, 2, and 3. So this will give me 180. I'm going to round this up. 3, and then these become zeros. So now I have 3 sig figs, like I should. All right. So here's your homework. This is practice. So this is kind of cumulative practice. It starts from the beginning, counting sig figs, to rounding sig figs, to multiplying, dividing, adding, and subtracting.